Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. To all of you Flutter Flowers that are out there and are excited about the release, right, of FlutterFlow 5.0 this week. It's been super cool. I've been just overwhelmed with trying things out, um, not working on things that I need to work on, and prepping for the future because one of the things that this opens up the opportunity for is libraries. So, like a pretty robust UI kit that can be utilized across multiple platforms and utilized at all times, which is very fun. So, that's one of the things that I'm excited for. But also, like I haven't even touched actions, so this is gonna be my first time touching like keyboard actions, which is gonna be very fun for me. I've worked with the widget builder. I've worked on libraries, so I do have like a library, the UI kit that I'm working on, a NoCodeUI one that now we can actually utilize. You guys should actually utilize. There was a few nuances that prevented it from, yeah, prevented progress, but I'm interested in people's feedback and usage of libraries and how they use them and etc. So nice. Baz, I'm so glad, man. So, or yeah, so glad. Sorry, I didn't mean to genderize you. Um, so glad that you were watching that. I hope this one will be really fun. I'm looking forward to diving into Widget Builder. There's been a lot of questions how to build, with the Widget Builder. What does the Widget Builder do? And I think it's like, God, so freaking awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I will go through a few use cases where I'm going to use the Widget Builder. I do want to produce like, yeah, this I have this beta dashboard that I've been working on. We'll create some unique designs so that you guys can actually copy and paste this, or you guys can clone this project later. But we'll have a Command K menu, right? Because that's everybody wants a Command K menu. It's like the best thing ever, right? So looking forward to that. Sean, Raiden, good to have you. And let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to move you guys over to my other monitor. So if you guys are chatting, I apologize if I don't see it. I'll try to look over here. Nick, glad to have you. All right, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share my entire screen on this side. Okay, y'all can see that. So I have a project. This is a project we were building last week where we did that medical user details, right? Where we click a list item and we see the medical details. I've refreshed the design of it a little bit, but overall, same concept. And what I've done is, if we come over to project dependencies, I have this library, which is pretty sick, right? And it has 2 app states, 4 app constants, 42 components, and 7 assets. Okay, so here you go. We have a number of components. So these libraries, right, they're only going to be publishing the components, they're not going to be publishing pages. There is a small bug within the widget builder when utilizing libraries. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I have a page. I'll go over here. So I'll remove this. And let's just infinity that. I have a library hooked up here. This library has a bunch of just generic UI elements, right? And what we have to do in the libraries is each of these need to have parameters set up. So there is some additional elements that need to be set up. Okay, just to understand. But like this card basic, let's say. Well, here, let's do a page. We'll do a page layout. I have a few page layouts here. Oh, if my thing would work. 1 second. Page. All right. So we have this page, and it has, you can't really see it in the preview, but it has a top section, right? There's a top section with a row, and then there's 2 sections for the page. Well, right now, all I have access to is components within my project. And that's not what I want. I want to have access to all components within the library. So that's a bug FlutterFlow is fixing. I've alerted them to it, and they're gonna fix it. It's gonna be great. So they're awesome at fixing those little things. But widget builder, right? What is it? How do you handle it? So what I'm gonna use it for is and I'll share. Okay, let's go ahead and build a small layout here. These are all components from the library. So we're gonna build a small layout. I have a row here, and let's say I have a dashboard card. Okay. Uh, maybe card basic. Yeah, right here. All right, sick. Okay. So I have this card, this dashboard card, and I have a very common structure within this card, which is a title, a subtitle, and then some content, right? And typically, it's probably just one element of content. We could probably just do with one element of content. But let's say we have, top users, and we have, uh, yeah, below is a an overview of top users. I'm gonna bring this guy over. Um, okay, cool. Now this widget builder, what this allows us to do is it allows us to bring in uh, elements, right? So like we can do this. I have an empty element as well. So let's go to this list of users. Let's remove some of the styling, right? Let's remove this component completely or the container completely. Why can't I do that? Because this guy is expanded. Ooh, I bet you this guy's expanded. No, we should be able to remove that. There it is. All right, and we can remove that. Let's just say this is our user list, right? Just a user list here. And we don't even need this column. Boom. Sick. So now we have top users. We have that there. And what we can do is, as I said, we have this. I need an empty component. So I'm going to do that empty. I'm just going to throw a container in here at 0 and 0. 0, 0, and no background. Cool. So this empty will provide us with the ability to when we don't want anything in this section, right? There's two sections here. We can just throw an empty in there. And there you go. That's cool. Um, and what this does is it provides you with a starting point, right? So like this top section is completely the component. It's a one component. And then we can change out the content here. We could say, I think I have dashboard cards. Sorry, I'm limited because of we just say an appointment, right? Next appointment here, right? And here I'll say your next appointment. Below is your appointment details, right? So this is superb for multiple things. It's not just dashboard cards, right? And if we wanted to change the background, right? Let's say I don't like this drop shadow, so well, I'd have to go to the library, but I could like remove the drop shadow from this, right? And in one spot, and then this dashboard card would adapt and adjust throughout your entire project. Same thing with modals. Same thing with forms, right? So like, let's say we have, well, let's just go ahead and build one, right? Let's build a component. We're going to call it a modal. We're going to utilize one of these later. We're going to utilize this one later. So let's go ahead and add this one in because we have a Command K menu now. So we'll utilize this, right? And this could also work. I guess you could make this top section, um, your top component, and then you could change out this list view. You could have this list view be dynamically generated if you wanted to. Okay, cool. I'll remove my camera. Baz, that's what I'll do. Let's see. Yeah, I'll remove my camera. Sorry, guys. And Raiden, there's not a whole lot of Supabase stuff that's been released so far that I know. They are working on updating those things, but as of now, not much has been mentioned. So, okay. So we have this Command K menu. Let's go ahead. Like I said, we're going to actually build a modal, right? Like a top, like a add component modal. Okay. We'll just utilize this one. Okay, cool. All right. Now what this does is we're going to remove this and this, and we don't even need this. Okay. Because things have updated in FlutterFlow, so we can now do all this stuff. All right. So we have, again, title, subtitle, button to dismiss the modal, right? We have general style here of the modal background. And then what we can do is we can throw a widget builder in here. So what we'll do is we'll hook this up to uh, a component parameter. We'll say title. Yeah, title. And then this one will be subtitle. Subtitle. And then instead of this text and buttons here, right? We don't want that. Let's go ahead and throw in a widget builder. Okay, let's throw in a widget builder down here. So we're going to define a parameter, widget builder, or content. We'll call it content. Widget builder here. All right. And then what you need to do is you need to come to components, right? I don't know why it's present here, but this is where it's present. So once you define a parameter as a widget builder, you can grab it from the components. We'll just grab it in here, throw it in there, boom. And then what you can do is you can set a preview, right? If you wanted to set a preview, you could do modal user details. We don't want that, but you can do a card appointment, right? These could all be things that you do. The list of users, right? This is just an example of what it's going to look like. But you're going to be able to pass in a widget. So you could do this, and you could also, like I said, dismiss bottom sheet or dismiss. This is going to be a custom dialog. So dismiss custom dialog. You can pass in whatever thing you want here. You could do an entire form. What I've done in my library is I've set up forms to just be, the inputs and the form validation and a button, right? And then I'm going to pass in, I'm going to have the form. Well, we can build one, but that's what I'm doing in my libraries where I just have forms. So create user, create task, create this, create that, and then you can just put forms in here. So you could do a create task. You say invite user. This could be like user details, task details, all of these things. It has the same flow, right? You're calling the same component. You're just switching out the content here that's actually displayed, which is absolutely wonderful. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want my Command K menu. So hopefully that makes sense. Conditional widget containing variety components. Well, oh man, this is great, Nick. You don't have to do it. That's the difference. You don't have to do it. It's so much cleaner. Like, dude, conditional widgets are so annoying. Are you kidding me? Dude, we have a project right now before the widget builder was launched. We have conditional builder with 16 conditions, 16 of them, 16. Do you know how frustrating it is to edit or like to view one of those? So frustrating, dude. It's like literally the most annoying thing in the world. I don't know what they do, what it does on the code side, but I know that this is 10 times better than a conditional builder. That's 100%, like 10 times better. So yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And also you can do whatever, right? So in conditional builder, you have, and this is another point, in a conditional builder, you have static elements, right? Like you only have those things. So in my layout, and I'll go to my library, I'll open that eventually and I'll show you what I mean by that. But when you're creating the page layouts, like you could have anything in that, right? Like my layout could have anything, just like this. This could have anything. So in my basic, hard basic, right? I'll bring up my library in Chrome. In my card basic, I could have 4 dozen, right? I could have 40 components that could go in here, right? So that would be 40 conditions, Nick. 40 of them, right? That's annoying. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So uh, now you can just say, hey, I want this card and I want this widget, period. That's it. It's great. It's amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. Don't underestimate the power of this. It is super fun. So that is the power of it. I have page layout, so we'll just create one for the heck of it, okay? So we will call this our page. We're gonna say page dynamic. All right. And we're going to throw in some widgets. We're going to say section 01 and widget builder section 02 widget builder. Okay. Section 03. It just clicked for you. Oh, dude, I'm so glad. Nick, I'm very glad. Yeah. It's going to be like like I said, I just think it's absolutely amazing. So, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have page content here. We're going to have widget 1 here, widget 2 over here. Let's say there's buttons, right? And then there's a section. For now, let's just say this is our page content. So what we're going to do is, and so that we can visualize this, right? We can create a section. So I'm going to add a component. This is just for example's sake, section preview. We're going to just throw a container in here. We're going to say it's like 112 or yeah, 100. We're going to make it infinity width for the heck of it. And we're going to throw a text in here and just say preview. And for the sake of non-breaking things, we will throw a max width on there. Okay. This is nice. Okay, page dynamic. So now we have our widget builders. Let's come over here. Sorry, components. And we're going to say drag 1 up there, drag 2 right there, drag 3 in here. All right. Let's expand this and expand this. Let's say this one's like 7 and this one's 4. And then so that we can preview this, we're going to do our preview widget. I'm going to do my layout here. And here, I should be able to say UI. Oh, cuss, dude. Okay, so it's a bug all throughout. There's no access to library components. So frustrating, so frustrating. Okay. Okay, that's all right. We will, we should have the ability. I'm waiting for the ability to detach. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to detach this guy and then utilize it. But so this is what you're going to be able to do. Then you'll be able to like throw this page, right, in wherever. Preview. Wait, section preview. Yep. Okay, section preview. That's what we'll do for now. Section preview. Okay. All right. There you go. So now we have our preview here, or like our page layout, and we could change this stuff. Use case where you need to use it. What exactly does it solve? Oh, dude, Eli, this solves any type of large design system. Okay, so like before you had to create multiple pages, like let's say a details page. So like whenever you're creating large systems, you are whenever you create large systems, you have to keep a pattern, right? So like, hey, this is what a main page looks like. Same thing here, right? This is what a main page looks like. We have a nav bar. We have a top section with a header. We have a button section over here, maybe a search over here. And then we have content. We have a list view. So this page dynamic, right, that we're building Well, now what I can do is, or eventually when I have these components available for my library, um, right, this is the same layout as this more or less, because what I'd do is this would all be one component, and I'll call this my dashboard component. So my structure can stay the same, right? My structure can stay the same up here. This, maybe I don't make it a widget builder. Maybe I just always have this page title, right? So like it just always is there. But like buttons will change over here. Sometimes I have a search, sometimes I have a command K, sometimes I have a create appointment, sometimes I have a create user, right? So like we can change that dynamically, and we keep the same structure. Consistency will be key with this. So that's the problem it solves. Also longevity. I mean, this is just like so great, dude. Consistency and longevity of your projects are going to be benefited by this. Just so you know. Okay. We're going to just we're going to do that, and I'm going to, because it's annoying me so much, I'm going to say my max width is like 2000. Okay. We're going to remove this for now because I don't have, well, maybe I'll just do preview anyways. Section preview, and section preview. Okay. So let's try to do our command K menu, because I haven't touched that. So solve something that wasn't possible until now. It just keeps to be organized and work in a more modular approach. Correct. It does help you work in a more modular approach. Also, to Nick's point earlier, conditional builders, right? So like, yeah, I mean, you could do this before, maybe with a conditional builder. It's a pain in that rear, man. It's a pain. It's literally such a pain to do that. So it allows you to set these things up dynamically, a lot more dynamically than before. So I'm getting some errors on this, so I don't know. But one of the things I want to do, right? Triggers, command K menu. So let's go ahead. Dynamic FlutterFlow modal can't be assigned to the parameter type, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. We're going to, I don't know, we're going to delete this component. Something's causing some trouble. I hope it's not this one, because I really want this one to work. All right. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Nice. Let's go ahead and do that. Center. Okay. So when we are on the nav, right, or when we're on a main page, I want to be able to press Command K, and I want to bring up that small little modal, right? This Command K menu. Is it possible not have 4 different Webflow pages using this? Yeah, 100%. It would, yeah. Baz, you're correct. You could essentially have one page template. I mean, you would still have to have the 4 pages, right? Now, there's probably some logical flaw in what I'm saying, but at some point, right, you could go haywire with this, where you have literally a one-page application. Yes, Jamie from Arrive, he builds all of his stuff like that. So totally possible, probably. It just depends on how you want to build and how you want to keep things consistent. In my opinion, what I would do, right, is, and this is what I probably do in my libraries, is I'll have page layout, and the page layout will be, right, page content here and nav bar here, where you can dynamically switch out this nav bar. You could, if you wanted to, right, you can make it this, or you can make it this one, fairly easily, because what I'm trying to build in my UI kits are scalable systems, so that when you come in and build something, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to build every single one of these elements by itself, right? You don't even have to, you can just, they're Lego blocks, right? They're Lego blocks. So what this widget builder does is it provides you with places for you to place your Lego blocks, which is going to be highly beneficial for building scalable systems and building quickly. We don't have to think about all these other things. So, okay, sorry, I'm rambling. And what I want is a Command K menu. So, and I've never done this, so we're going to see if this works, how it works. We're going to do that little guy. Um, All right, cool. Yeah, we're going to do this little guy. And I'm going to just assign this elevation 2 and do infinity and do 64. Actually, I'm going to do 48 there. And then let's remove that box shadow. And what I want is I want this to say, you know, I want to have a row in here. And I want to have text here that says search platform. Cool. I'm really glad. All right, and then I'm going to have this. I'm going to say instead of 16, I'm going to do 12. Okay. And 32, alternate, and 8. All right. I'm going to say Command K on this. So let's do that. Here, I'm just doing this for design, right? This has nothing to do with what we're actually, I need to do the command symbol. Okay. Nice. Copy and paste that in there and K. Well, 8 and 8. Okay. So we'll say, you know, this is what we'll do is we'll say this brings up the modal, right? So this tapping this will bring up custom dialog, modal, Command K, and it'll bring up with accent 4. All right, that's great. But we also want the page itself. So on patience, right, I want to add an action. So let's go ahead and on shortcut press. Oh, looky there. All right, so Command K. Oh, that was so easy. All right, on Command K, what do we want it to do? We want it to also bring up that custom dialog. Uh-oh, I think this is going to be a game changer. Modal Command K, accent. I mean, I may build all my apps with this, so y'all better watch out. Okay, let's see. If so, that was like the dead easiest way. Let's see. Andrew D. Yeah. Of course, of course. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and restart my Chrome. Okay. So we talked about widget builders. I talked about libraries. So this is my library that I have currently. So this is that card that we saw earlier. It has a section here, a section here. We also have, you know, don't pay attention to the pages because they don't matter, but we have forms here. So this is a comment form, right? You'll be able to like select the text and the button here. We have a create task. So you're going to have a form here. And really what we need is buttons down here, I think, because I was in these types of setups, right? We're doing a modal and we're passing widgets in, but there's no access. So when you do a custom dialog, right, and you have that card and you select the two widgets, there's no access, like they don't communicate with one another. So something to be careful of, right? For me, I had this form. Right. How I was going to set this up was I was going to have a form here and I have a button section, right? I just have a UI section for buttons here, small, large, right? Or medium, large. And what I wanted was I wanted to like just put the form in here, right? So form here, buttons create stuff from the form. But I was accessing this from a dialog. Um, for some reason, I don't know why, but I was not able to access that I could see the form. So these buttons were not able to access things from the form, the widget states or component states of that. So just something to keep in mind as you're building that out. But we are going to, so like this, I could actually just bring in this page. Sorry, I could bring in this button UI section, and I want buttons. There you go. Right, throw those at the bottom. And then this could actually uh, do my two things. So I could say cancel, reset, right? I have title positive, title neutral, action positive, action neutral. That's how we're going to set stuff up in the future. So, okay, cool. And then these are just like list elements with a bunch of parameters that I'm working on. Same thing, right? Like what I would personally like is pre-built layouts that we can use and then we can detach. Those are supposedly coming, right? So like the detachment of these things are coming, but that's what I usually use UI kits for. Is like, failed to run. Come on. All right, we're gonna see if this is just bugging out because I'm not in here. Sometimes that happens. So we're gonna try to stay in here. Okay. Um, let's let's go back over here. So, as mentioned before, these are all this is actually from our library, from my library. And the beautiful thing is that uh, local Chrome framework package. Oh, that really stinks. Add modal. FlutterFlow Chrome 2. Ah, NoCodeUI kit. Dynamic. Okay. Um, okay. And we'll just maybe remove this. Maybe that's what's causing the issue. FlutterFlow modal 2. I don't really have FlutterFlow modal. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. No code UI kit, FlutterFlow modal, widgets. All right. Maybe that was it. So maybe there's some bugs with some widget builder stuff. I don't know. But okay. While that loads, when building a web app, would having those 4 Webflow pages mean that every time you click another tab, messages refresh the page? Yes, that is correct. Every time you go from page to page, you are reloading the data on that page unless you have it cached. So, but you're going to be doing that regardless, whether it's set up like this or whether you are showing hiding content over here, right? If you're just saying like, hey, when patients is selected, show the patient widget, and when messages selection, show the messages widget. So data is going to refresh regardless, right, in the component state. So the way that that worked, key there. Don't you love that? I don't know what was going on. Like I said, maybe some bugs, but let's go ahead and see if it works. I'm going to press Command K. Oh my gosh, OMG! Right, we have this. I'm not touching that. I'm doing Command K. Oh, this is nice. This is really nice. All right, let's go ahead and adjust this. This text field sucks. Go ahead and do primary. And let's say, let's try to wrap this. All right, this needs to be in, this row needs to be in a container, and that needs to have 0 padding. And this container needs to have the, well, this row actually needs to have the padding. Let's do that. And let's make this fill color primary. And let's adjust this to 12 and 12. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and do implicitly animated. This is going to be a fun little fact for y'all. So we'll do that. And then we're going to set this container conditional value. We're going to say when this text field has focus, we're going to do accent 4. And when it doesn't, we're going to do secondary background. All right. And then we're going to make sure that it's autofocus. Let's go ahead and update component on focus change as well. All right. So let's do that. Maybe we can, we have an animation here. See what that is. That's just a slide up. Very boring. Very, very boring. Let's go ahead and add a tilt in here. That and a scale. We're just going to do something like 8.8. All right. All right. There's no fade. Oh, man, that's why. Not even a fade here. So, okay, cool. Perfect. Sweet. All right, we're going to copy all animations and do it on this little guy too. All right. Okay, one is CocoaPods is installed, even though it is posting community waiting for response. Sean, yeah, I think there were some problems. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I'm answering all the questions. So again, this is really cool. This list view is from the library, right? So I would dynamically generate this, hook up the list view to my parameters in the component, and then I would have access to that. And anytime you update the library, or anytime I update the library, right? And that's one of the benefits of it is this will change. So if I was managing multiple projects, it would be very beneficial. But let's go ahead and do Command K. Oh, come on. All right, where's my animation though? There it is. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. I wonder if I could do escape. Well, I can do escape now. That's sort of nice. I can escape. Oh, dude. Hello. This is awesome. That rocks. Okay, we also want like maybe a border here on this little guy. So let's see, we have a divider. Let's say it's 2. And let's copy and paste this. Same thing. And let's do paste primary alternate. All right. All righty. Then, okay, local run, CocoaPods. Yeah, Sean, I don't quite have an answer for you. I was able to install Xcode 18, or sorry, not Xcode 18, iOS emulator 18, like the simulators 18, and then Xcode 16, I think. And it does work for me. I don't know what the problem would be for you. So I know that CocoaPods problem is annoying. It's super annoying. But yeah, I don't quite know the solution to it because of my terminal knowledge is just not the best. All right, sick. So 40 minutes. We have a Command K menu, which is sick. I mean, this is awesome. And I wonder if we have, ooh, oh, dude. Okay, that's probably too much for this. But I was wondering if we had like arrow, like, arrow up, arrow down. We could like select a list view item in this menu. I'm trying to see if that would be like even possible. So let's see if we can. I don't know. I actually don't know. I'll try that out later this week. I'm not gonna do it now. I'm sure Cody would know the answer to that. He's a huge builder with that, with a lot of keyboard shortcuts. So what we have is importing the library, right? I have a library with a bunch of elements that I'm now able to build with here and maybe here, right? So like this is actually a library element. dashboard card, and you're like, hey, but I have that access in FlutterFlow. You're totally right. You have most of these access in FlutterFlow. Um, but I'll just copy and paste, right? We can update these. Uh, but you can have custom ones now. So I could do, we could do a bunch of elements. I could do a bunch of tables, a bunch of list views, mostly just list views because it's very component level, not section level. Sorry. Um, I would prefer section level, but it's very element level. So you can do, a list view for users like this. You could do a list view. This could be different. Maybe it's not users. Maybe it's products, right? Maybe it's an order. Maybe it's a customer location. All of this stuff. But you could do a few different types of this. So you could have one with status. You could have one with progress. You could have one with counts, for information. Maybe a small progress bar. Um, yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. Nice. I'm sure it does require some custom code, but I think it could work if you dynamically generated that list. Um, so like if we dynamically generated this list, we would have an index for that. And then we could say like, hey, select next index in list. And we could have a component state for selected, right? And then we could press enter and I don't know, do that thing. And maybe we have an action that is associated with the list view item. Like add quiz, we go to the modal that adds quiz, find customer is a search, something like that. So pretty cool. Very fun stuff. Um, but yeah, the goal is to just build out elements that you can utilize. And building out nav bars is going to be sort of annoying because there's a lot of customization for each of them. Um, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that in a scalable way because right now the actions break. So like um, I have 3 nav bars in my system here. I have this little guy, uh, this little guy, this little guy, and this guy. And ideally, you would be able to like just drag in any of these and be able to like access the benefits of this, right? But the way it's set up is y- I have to set up an action for each of these nav items. And then, right, you probably don't want my logo up here. You probably want your logo up here. You probably want different icons. You probably want different text. So it's like, okay, now I have to set up uh, 15 parameters for this nav bar to make it workable, which to me is less than scalable. So the benefit or the goal I think is for them to detach widgets, and so I could detach this into my own project from the library and get all the power of it, right? So I have if you I think I have this published, so you should have this extendable or expandable menu, like I want the power of that, but I want to change this stuff in each of my applications. So instead of having to pass in parameters for each of those things, I need to figure out a scalable way to do that. So yeah, just an idea or just a thought. But being able to attach instances from the library, I think is going to be very beneficial in the future. So man, I can't wait to add this to my platforms. So Command K, keyboard actions, very, very cool. How do modals translate into an iOS Android app is still a pop-up? Yeah, Baz. So it would still be a pop-up. There are ways. So yeah, there are ways to implement them in different ways, or sorry, to implement them slightly differently. So for a desktop to modal. And this is another great thing. So in one of my projects, sorry, let me get boot camp. Oh man, I don't know I don't know it off the top of my head. But I'll try to find it. Um, in one of my projects, we have a task view, right? That is on a page on mobile and in a side section on desktop, right? Or a side modal in desktop. So building with components is very helpful for that, right? But I could also, especially with this widget builder, right? And I'll showcase that to you. I'm just going to leave this one. I'm going to go app. Oh, sorry. Beta dashboard, capstone employer. Okay. Another benefit of the widget builder is this little guy. Okay. This is a common structure that we have. So what I have here is I click this and I get this side modal. Again, right? Again, this is a common UI pattern that I want throughout my application. I just want it to appear here. So now what I can do is I can say, hey, this is a side modal, right? And then sometimes it's a task details, and sometimes it's a customer details, and sometimes it's a chat, right? Something like that, right? Or maybe it's an activity details if whenever we get that. So we have the same structure. So what I would do is, right, build out my component here and then build out, just have a widget builder here, and we'll just feed in the different uh, details, right? This is a whole page. This task details is a whole page. So we don't have to build. In the past, what you'd have to do is, if I want this structure, well, this is a component. That's great, right? I don't have to rebuild this every time, but I have to have a modal with this, and then I have to have a modal with employees, and I have to have a modal with chats, right? And now we don't have to do that. We can just throw these components anywhere in that structure and then just change it with the widget builder. So another benefit, right? Because on mobile, um, maybe instead of this side view and maybe instead of a details page, I do want this in a modal that pops up, right? And so what I would do is I would create the bottom sheet modal. So instead of having side, I would have it come up from the bottom. Maybe instead of having space around, I would have it take up the full width of the screen, and I want it to slide down, right? But you could do all of that with the widget builder. You could just have one bottom sheet modal with a widget builder, one side modal with the widget builder. You can those are the two things, right? And then on mobile, right, on anywhere you trigger those things, you're going to do a conditional action. You would still have to do this conditional action in the original state, but it makes it a lot cleaner, right? Instead of having a form and then the form on a page and then the form in a modal, right? I've done that before. Really, literally, this is a real use case. User details, right? I have the user details and I can drag that into a page, but I also have it in a side modal. Well, I needed to put it into the container of the side modal as well. So now you can just have the one task, right? You can throw this into any structure based off of the widget builder now, which is cool. So add as parameter inside a component. When using that component in a page, I'm not seeing where to tell widget builder which component to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to reproduce even after following documentation. So you are, well, that's what gave me problems actually. But you've created the widget builder, Nick. So I added widget builder for the first time, adding as a parameter inside a component. When using that component in a page, okay, I'm not seeing where to tell widget builder which component to use. Okay, so again, let's just do our analogy here. So we have our card, basic. This is what causes problems, so we won't be able to run our thing, but let's say that. So you're not saying if you select this, you're not getting these guys down here, Nick. You should get access to this. You should have components as well. So that should be a thing you have already, but you should get access to this here. You need to make sure that you are, passing in section preview page dynamic. Yeah. You need to make sure that you've set up your widget builders in the component itself. So setting a parameter is the first thing, and then throwing that into the page is the next thing, right? And doing this, we can throw multiple. Nice. So just maybe that's the issue. I don't quite know, but it should work. It does. There are some bugs there still, but eventually, I think it's going to be very beneficial. Um, cool, awesome. Let's see if we can. I don't know. Build out another dashboard. I'm trying to. I'm actually done with the things that I wanted. I wanted to showcase libraries. I wanted to showcase the widget builder. I wanted to do a Command K menu, which was dead easy. So I have a. I guess I'll just continue to build certain things in FlutterFlow. So we will. One of the things that this does, right, that this widget builder does is it moves everything to components. So we want to actually build everything in components, right? And yes, of course, you best practice anyways, but sometimes it's annoying, right? It is annoying. Sometimes component state doesn't update. It works easier to just utilize a dynamic list and have it sit there. But building things in components. So one thing I'm going to recommend is we build, another section here. We're going to put a row up here. Since we're having bugs with the page builder, I'm gonna build this structure first, and then maybe we'll make these things components. But a beautiful design, right? On most dashboards, most products, you have some sort of identifier of your page here, and then some actions a user can take over here. So let's go ahead and build a row here, right? And in this master row, I'm going to do space in between right now. We'll do an icon button over here, and we'll do. Let's say we have an avatar. Oh, sorry, we have a user information here, right? So let's do that. Come on now, unexpanded. Hey, why can't I do that? Does not make sense. We'll expand this row, I guess, and then we'll be able to do it. Perfect. All right. We'll make this row on the right, and we will set some padding in between, maybe 8 pixels. Same thing on this master row. We'll do 16, and maybe we'll say like more or menu, right? And let's go ahead and give this our neutral color. And I'll go ahead and select menu again. Perfect. All right. There's that. And we can then say like maybe there's a notification as well. Get Dalkey 40, 48, and 48. So notification bell. Here we'll do this little guy. Nice. And we have a nice little section up here, right? I guess I will do 12 so that they match the avatar. So menu, that, and then maybe maybe a search. Let's just do that. Doesn't really work for our use case because we have search in the side nav, but let's say that. So now what we want to do is we want to create this little guy as our component. So we're going to say nav top section. And really what we can do is we'll tackle all of this. We'll say nav top section is all of this, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Nav top section. Now we have that. And now we have, we want parameters. So this eventually, or essentially, you're going to be, if this is in your project, this is going to be your logged in user. So you're just going to connect this stuff to your authenticated user. I don't have an authenticated user. So I'm just going to do Andrew D and name at domain.com, and my avatar will stay that. Avatar size will be 32. We probably have some drop downs, so let's go ahead and we'll add a component for a drop down. Sick. We're going to utilize this guy. Drop down user. Okay, very nice. And then we'll replace this nav top section with this guy. We're going to copy that, bring it over, paste it in here, there. And then let's copy this and we'll remove it. Sick. All right, 32. All righty then. So now in this nav top section, on this menu, we could do a custom dialog, select component, and we're going to do drop down, user, and we will say overlay 0. We'll do align with target widget, and we'll do align bottom, and then the dialog alignment will be the top right, and we'll do a void overflow. What this is going to do, it's going to bring the menu right down here. And so when we do that, we're going to get access to that. I think that's on the notifications page. No, what is it? Oh, it's on the second page. So it's on the messages page. So we need to set this up. Let's go ahead and say, let's set this from a component parameter, right? So page title. I really like this when we are, so this is a component that I brought in from my library. And when we create parameters for this, right, for a component that this component is within, so a parent component, it will automatically set the default value and the name, which is so nice. Thank you, FlutterFlow. Really appreciate that. So now instead of, title or dashboard, this can be, I think this is like messages, right? Below are your messages. And we can copy and paste that. And we're going to throw it into Webflow patients. All right, cool. And now we can just copy and paste that. And we'll do it there. And we'll do patients. So we'll do patients. Okay, cool. And now when we go to messages, yep, we should get this. And there's our drop down. Oh, that's another thing. So FlutterFlow, this little guy is, our names are not showing up. So I've put names here in here, but they're not showing up. That's good. That's something good to know. Yeah, I guess they have to be. So that's a little bug. Oh, show name. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, show name. I have a Boolean here. Little. That's great. I'm glad we don't have a bug here. That is superb. All right, cool. Now we'll update this. Same thing here. Probably need to implement that show name. Excelente. Okay. Cool. Now let's go ahead and remove all of our, so like to answer, I don't know, whatever question there was earlier, like I won't have to have this style here. Like now I can just do my page widget. So even if I have 5 pages, this page content will always have the same style. So if I ever wanted to add a page background to my page, right, I would have one single place where I would have that style, which is superb. So just another element of longevity and flexibility. So okay, cool. Correct. Auto structure, flex container. Okay. Also, Baz, yeah, container or like flex. Good. We're almost done. The flex container. I don't know when it's coming. I wish I did. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be sometime next week, possibly um, when the new AI stuff comes to be. So I think it's on that schedule rather than this stuff. But we have some really cool stuff already. I mean, come on, Command K menu. You have this. I mean, this is pretty sick, right? We have libraries. We have widget builder. Very fun stuff. So thank you all for joining. This was actually like a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Um, and I'll try to make this available. I need to make all of these things available, but I'm trying to do it on the marketplace because it makes a little more sense to actually just like get people to know about, yeah, Kaleo on marketplace. So. And yeah, you have some of these powerful things all built in within FlutterFlow. So look at this hover state, right? As you can see, cool little drop down, all in FlutterFlow, just so you guys know. So super cool. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope this was insightful and educational for widget building and all the fun stuff. I think this is going to be next level. Really can't wait. So awesome.